And I also give open and sound witness to Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as his slave, servant, messenger, and seal the prophets. Peace be upon the prophet, upon his descendants, upon his companions, and upon the righteous throughout the world. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. We're forever thankful to Allah, highly glorified is He, for once again allowing us to unite for this wonderful day, this Jumu'ah, this time for Salat, by which we come to seek His aid, ask for His forgiveness, and most of all, to beg for His mercy. This is the most prevalent attribute. The most prevalent attribute is mercy. He said that His mercy supersedes His punishment. We begin everything, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We say, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. You know, when we look into the Quran, and I'm thinking about this human being, where he says, and it's very fundamental, but whatever you find in the Quran, as fundamental as it may sound, is profound. You know, it's of great magnitude. If you find it in the Quran, as simple as it may be, it's important for you to know. Because Allah wouldn't put it in the Quran. He would not put anything in the Quran that wasn't going to transform the human being. He wouldn't put anything in the Quran that was not going to make the world better. So he says, in most simplest terms, he says, khalaqal insan. That He created the human being. That sounds simple. That He created the human being. And we have to look at what defines human. And one of the most important things I want to share with you that Imam Muhammad taught us, he said that the mission of the devil is to take the human being out of the human body. Now you think about that for a minute. That the human being is more than flesh and blood. In fact, Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that I've come to perfect character. And we go into this soul of the human being. We go into all these qualities of what makes a human being. His love, his compassion, his consideration, his intellectual properties, his soul, his spirit, his emotional power. This is what makes up a human being. Now, the mission of the devil is to take the human being out of the human body, then he's more than just flesh and blood. His real worth is internal. His real worth is seen in his behavior, his characteristics, all these fine qualities of decency and civility, being a civil being. And that's what you find the world is missing. The world is missing this civil being, this caring, this loving, this empathetic being that feels with and feels for another human being. So Allah says, khalaqal insan. He wants us to know that He created the human being. And then there's an ongoing movement to make that being other than human. So Allah said that He is al-Fatir. He is the originator. You start looking at these beings today, you'll see abnormal and unnatural beings. That almost anything goes. There's all kind of classifications of what it means to be a human being. indecency, coldness, animalistic behavior where people are comfortable calling themselves animals because he lost the concept of what it means to be human. In his mind, he don't even understand what a human being is. Because if he understood what a human being is, he would never demote himself to be less than a human being. Your intelligence wouldn't let you do that. If you really understood what a human being is, your intelligence will not, and your spirit will not let you declassify yourself. It would disturb your soul to go into a demotion. You know what demotion is? That you have been reduced, and you're going to reduce yourself to less than a human being. So Allah says, Khalaqal Insan, that he created the human being. And that's what the world need to be taught on. The world need to be taught on how do we get back to being a human being. How can we get to a comfortable state of understanding what it means to bond? Because the word insan not only does it mean human, but it means one who bonds and connects with another being. He's a connecting being, because it's natural for a human being to connect with others. You find someone he likes, same quality, same values, they're attracted to that person. So insan is a connecting being. So the world needs a lesson on what it means to be human. And how do you have a respect for the sacredness of that human life? Because he said that he created the human being. So he created the human being, that human being is precious. If he created the human being, that human being is valuable. If he created the human being, that human being has purpose in the world. And if that human being has purpose in the world, then it's our role to work to preserve the value of that human being. That's why our mission is to help people. Because we know that person right there that needs help is valuable. Not only to himself, but he's valuable to the whole world. Because Allah created him to be just like that. Everything he created has purpose and meaning of being in existence. He don't make things and people without value and purpose. So he says, Khalaqal Insan, that he created the human being. And I said to you that the mission of the devil is to take the human being out of the human body. So if you pull out love, then hate goes in. If you pull out decency, then immorality goes in. If you pull out intelligence, then ignorance is deposited. So the mission of the devil is to take out those good qualities and fill that flesh and fill that body with weakness. And then that weakness begins to reproduce itself in the world. And then as that weakness and ignorance reproduces itself in the world, we become affected by it. It begins to impact us in ways that we're not even aware of. Impact is in terms of the stress we get from seeing so much pain in the world and in our families. Because the ignorance and the weakness is reproducing itself. Because the mission of the devil is to pull the human being out, the love, the decency, the respect, and he puts something else in that body. So here's the verse where Allah says, after talking about Khalaqal Insan, that he created the human being, he says, "O you who believe, keep your duty to Allah and seek means of nearness to him, and strive hard in his way that you may prosper." Here's a formula. Here's a real clear formula for your prosperity. See, the end of it all is Allah telling us He wants us to prosper. He wants us to thrive. He wants us to flourish. He wants us to succeed. He wants us to complete things. He said the end result is that you will experience prosperity. Meaning that you already have everything you need in your body to experience a lifetime of prosperity. You have everything you need. See, everything you need for your life, Allah already gave it to you. And if you don't have some things you need, He's given you the ability to articulate and ask for the help that you need to get the things that you need and more. So you have everything that you need to experience and live a lifetime of prosperity. So the verse first begins with, "O you who believe." That right there is significant. Not only that you believe in Allah, yes, that's very important. That's first and foremost. But then after you believe in Allah, and we understand you believe in the principles of Al-Islam that you've accepted for your life, that then you come to a point where you must believe in the life He gave you. You know how many people go around in life and don't believe in what they've been given? They feel inadequate. They feel something is missing. I'm lacking in something. See, when He said He created, but He says, "Khalaq al-insan," when He said that He created the human being, He created and gave that human being what that human being needs. So if He gave the human being what the human being needs, then you have to come to a point where you believe that. If He said He created the human being. When He created you, He gave you what you would need to live out your life. The question is, do you believe that? So He said, "Oh, you who believe." After that, keep your duty to Allah. When we hear "Wattaqullah," keep your duty to Allah, remain conscious of Allah, that's significant, because that works to preserve the life. That's the same word you hear prevalent during Ramadan of taqwa. And taqwa clearly means preservation. That you're working to preserve that life. My conscience of Allah makes me aware of the precious life I'm given as a trust. It's so valuable, I believe in it, I have to work to protect it. If I don't work to protect this life, then I can never have fulfillment, I can never experience happiness. So you believe in the life, you have this awareness of Allah, and then He says what you have to do, you have to work to seek nearness to Him. And when you look at the conditions of the world, you can see that people are seeking nearness to other things. They're seeking nearness to money, and that money distracts them. They don't have a healthy relationship with the money. And then the money becomes a distraction to them. But Allah says, and seek nearness to Him. And if we don't seek nearness to Him, we're seeking nearness to forces that pull us away from being conscious of it. And this is over time. That's why even when we read the Quran, the first thing we do when we approach the Quran is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. This Quran is so valuable and so precious and so essential for your development that you seek refuge from the influence of the devil that can distract you from the powerful message that Allah is speaking to you. That's why he said, and be conscious of him. And then you seek nearness to him and strive hard. We began talking about this human being, but let me share this hadith with you. I was talking about belief. And belief is heavy. And belief is not just this ideal that I say I believe in Allah, and that's enough. There's a lot of things that come with belief. There's a hadith that shows us what belief really is. In the state of the believer and how the believer deals with the facts of life. Here's what this hadith says. Because all of us are going to go through storms. I told you before that in life, you either in a storm, got some tough times. It can be a financial storm, it can be a domestic storm, it can be social storm. You got some tough times. You either in a storm, you're into the storm, you're in a storm, or you're on your way out of a storm. And then when you come out of a storm, in due time, you will experience another storm. That's the facts of life. And all those storms, if you have the proper perception and the right level of belief, all those storms are shaping you in some kind of way. Those challenges you experience, they're shaping you. In fact, Allah may be taking you to another level without you realizing. That's why it talks about the level of belief. That you believe that what happens in your life, Allah is the regulator. It just don't happen. If he created you, then he's the one that's setting your life up. So the hadith says, the affairs of the believers is amazing. The whole of his life is beneficial, and that is only in the case of the believer. When good times come to him, he is thankful. And that is good for him. And when bad times befall him, he is patient, and that is also good for him. Now the hadith says, even in the good time, your gratitude make that experience good for you. And when you experience those tough times, those storms, and you remain patient, that right there is beneficial to you. That's good for you. Because what most people lack is most people lack the proper perception of how they look at those experiences. This hadith said that the believer's life is amazing because he realized he has to lose control. He has no control over his life. That's why people get stressed out, highly depressed, major internal emotional pain because they're trying to control what they can't control. That's why the believer must accept the idea that Allah is over his life. What did the Prophet peace be upon him say? He said that what has befallen you was not meant to pass you by. And what has passed you by, it wasn't meant to befall you. Now when you have to, when you come to a level of understanding belief and faith, you come to a level of acceptance. I have no control over that. And as hard as it may be, I'm not saying it's easy. But that's the best thing for you because the hadith says that even in the bad times and you have patience to hold on, that right there is good for you. And that's what many people lack. Many people lack patience. You know, I love when I read the verse where Allah said that He loved those who are patient. Then I like the verse where I read where Allah said, and He is with those who are patient. And then I love the verse where it talks about in Surah Al-Asr about how as time progresses, surely the human being is in a state of loss. And then it begins to give you a distinction of those who are not lost. And part of that definition, those who are not lost, is those who have patience. That you can hold on long enough to see what can I draw from this painful experience. That's why I said, and that bad time, along with patience, that's good for you. Because if you accept the idea that Allah is the creator, and He said that when He created a thing, He gives it a destiny, so you already know which way it's going. See, life is not straight. There's all kind of turns and twists in life. Life ain't straight. And once a person accepts that life is not straight, you begin to experience life better. It ain't straight. It's up, it's down, it's up hills, difficult hills. Go deep down in emotional pain, psychological pain. But when you believe that Allah says you have a destiny, He's taking you somewhere. And all the challenges, all the pain you go through, it's making you a better human being if you have the proper perception, if you can look at it right. But if you look at it just from the level of a victim, why me, why this happened to me, why they did this to me, if you look like that, you never grow. But if you accept the idea that, listen, I lose control, I have no control, Allah is in control of all of this, I become a better human being. Because nothing we have belongs to us. That's why Allah said, don't let your possessions, don't let your children distract you from the remembrance of Allah. Allah said He wants you to prosper. I read the verse where He talked about inviolate is man in his love for wealth. He's overly attached to things. And his over-attachment to things make him lose this connection he should have with Allah. And when he loses the connection properly that he should have with Allah, then he goes to that human being that's coming out of that human body. Because now selfish is coming, now greed comes in, now inconsideration comes in, now just being self-consumed. Because he's lost his ideal of being conscious of Allah. And if you lose this consciousness of Allah, anything is bound to happen. So we began with the verse where Allah says, Khalaqal Insan. And He created the human being. And He knows what that human being is going to experience. That's why He's the all-knowing. But how do you grow in life without challenges? That's why the verse here, it says, and strive in His way. You got to struggle. And when the twists and the turns come, you got to maintain your position. That's why it says, and those who are patient, that is good for him. You got to be patient. We live in a society where there's the lack of patience makes you vulnerable. Everything is now, quick, fast, in a hurry. And this human being is being shaped like that. And that's one of the major problems, not just in America, but in the world. Everything has to be right now. Now, I'm not saying it's just a problem in America, because Allah says here clearly that upon the human being, He loved those who have that quality. So it's a world condition. Ain't got no patience. Patience means you got staying power. Patience means you can hold on. Patience means you don't lose. And fall out of life. You just give up. Patient means I'm going to hold on to it and get better. I'm going to stick in there. I'm going to stick in there because if I strive long enough, I may experience a breakthrough. That's what we want. So he says, Khalaqal Insan. This human being that he created, he gave him the mechanism, all the qualities to be strong. That's what we need today. We need strong people. This verse says, oh, you who believe. That's strength right there. You can't be a believer without strength. That's strength, that's power. Because your life is governed by truth. And the truth means that which is durable. Al-Haq, it means that which is lasting. So your life as a believer is built upon not weakness, not falsehood. Your life is built upon truth. And with your life being built upon truth, you experience freedom. That's why the Bible says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. If you're free, you're strong. When you're in bondage, you're in captivity, you are weak and vulnerable for the forces who are controlling your life. So Allah says, Khalaqal Insan. He created the human being. Not the dog as a human being. He created the human being who knows how to function as a human being. But there's all kind of forces out there working to make you other than human. That's the whole mission of the devil. To make you function in an abnormal way. That's why I gave you the attribute where it says, Allah says that he's Al-Fatih. He is the originator in your original form. That's why they sold America, they sold the world on so much of homosexuality to take you out of the original form, and they're making that popular and socially accepted. Allah said he created the human being. In fact, he said in the Quran, and that the male is not like the female. There's clear distinction with this human being. And this human being power is coming into the awareness of what it means to be human and what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman. It is powerful in that identity. If you come outside that identity, you got weakness and you got problems in the world. So he says, Khalaqal Insan. But if the mission of the devil is to take the human being out of the human body, he'll put anything in the world of acceptance. That's why I told you before, there's this ideal about a new normal. You know, new normal. Now that just sounds crazy. A new normal. See, normal means normal is what it is. It can't be new. Normal has already been fixed. It's already been established. It is normal to operate on this level. A new normal means here's something that we said you should accept in your life in 2016. It's new. What we're doing is old as dirt. Because the same way the human being has been functioning in this human form, it never changes. The human being can never change. The human being. He loves, he cares, he falls weak. He cried. That never changes. The human psychology never changes. The beating of the heart never changes. There's nothing new established. This is old and it will continue to the end of time. Because Allah said he created, he says, Khalaqal Insan, he created the human being. It's already fixed what it means to be human. And once we really begin to establish what it means to live a life as a loving, caring, compassionate, forgiving person, we have a better world. That's why it says, and that you strive hard in his cause. This term jihad, this word jihad is about putting yourself into the process so that you can benefit from what he gave you. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وكان عذاب النار. Assalamu alaikum. So the hadith again says, the affairs of the believer is amazing. The whole of his life is beneficial. Listen to the language now. The whole of his life, in other words, all your experiences, whether you realize it or not, are beneficial. When good times come to him, he is thankful. There's one verse in the Quran where Allah says, and if you are thankful, I will give you more. That's powerful. See, your getting is in how thankful you are for what Allah has given. He said that if you just show gratitude, I'll release more into your life. You want more? Allah says show gratitude. He says that when the good times come, he is thankful. And that right there is good for him. And when bad times befall him, he is patient, and that also is good for him. We got some good times, we got some tough times, we got some bad times. And how we deal with the bad times, how we celebrate the good times, is going to do something for our lives. It's going to do something for our spirit. And when we have these good times, we should share what we have with other people. When Allah bless you, when he gives you, you should give to other people. Now, one of the things we have to realize is that if we're going to grow spiritually, we're going to grow emotionally, we're going to grow psychologically, we have to be willing to give. That's how you grow. You grow by releasing what you've been given. And then when you release and give what you've been given, that is an expression of your gratitude, because you're willing to now share the gifts Allah gave you with other people. That's the only way we grow. Because the ideal of zakat, I want you to understand this right. The ideal of zakat, of giving, in that sense, means to grow. It means to purify. That's why we can't let greed sit in. We can't let selfishness sit in. Those are not good qualities for human beings. He said he created a human being. Greed and selfishness are not qualities that will take the human being to its highest level. Greed means I want mine and yours too. Selfishness means I want mine, I don't want you to have none of it. Those are dangerous qualities. You can't grow a family like that. You can't grow a community. You can't grow a society. You can't even grow as an international being if you're not willing to give. If you're not willing to share your ideal. That's how the world expanded. The world is growing now because other countries have been sharing ideals of how other countries can make their condition better. Look what America does for the world. Look at how people volunteer their time and go to the deprived parts of the world and share health, share food, share clothes. Look at how America and other countries come to those cities, to those countries, and share technology to improve that condition. That's why zakat means to increase. So as we give, we help what we're giving, and we help our own soul. So we share. So when Allah said that you may prosper, that you may be successful, this ideal of falah is the ideal of what happens with a farmer. He gets the soil right. He struggles to get the soil right so he can plant the seed so the seed can do its work to make its contribution to life. Here's another hadith the Prophet, peace be upon him, gives to us about sharing. And it's a powerful hadith. He said, any Muslim who plants a tree gains the reward of giving in charity. That's powerful. Now we should probably think about planting a tree. Don't just listen to this. You have to understand people plant trees all over the place. A lot of benefits in planting trees. But listen to this hadith. Any Muslim who plants a tree gains the reward of giving in charity. What is eaten from the tree is charity. What is stolen from it is charity. What animals eat and what the birds eat, all is charity. Anyone or anything that takes from it earns for the planter the reward of giving in charity. It goes so far to say that for the person who steals from the tree, you're going to be rewarded with charity. See, Allah's system is powerful. He's very merciful. He's very giving. If you plant that tree and the bird, the rodent eats from that tree, the man steals from that, a person who's hungry eats from the tree, Allah gives you charity. So the whole ideal is we're positioning ourselves to give to make life better. That's the purpose of giving. The purpose of giving is to make life better. When we breathe out, we are making life better. When we breathe in from the tree, life is being made better. The ideal of giving is to make life better. So when we get into the mode of giving, we're working to improve conditions to make life better. So we have to ask ourselves now is, what can I do? How can I use my resources to aid and assist the efforts of the masjid? That's a major concern for us. A major concern for us is how do we use our resources to make the masjid strong enough so the masjid can live out its purpose. So the masjid can serve those in need, so the masjid can create environments for educational experiences. So as we give, Allah rewards, and He said that in your giving, He multiplies. So part of the human experience is giving. And part of the experience of the devil is to make us turn down the ideal of giving. That you become selfish. That's part of the devil. Because everything about life is flowing out. Everything is flowing out. The devil works to lock up, to make us selfish. One verse where Allah even talk about how man is destroyed by his greed. I remember I was watching the movie a long time ago and it said that Wall Street, the man said for all intended purposes, greed is good. Said that greed is good. Greed has never been good. Because greed means that I'm so consumed with my own concern that I want my portion and I want yours too. I want more than enough. And my greed means that I'm taking so much I don't care if you get some. Greed has never been good. So we have to find in our minds and our spirit, how can we give more? And when we give more, we come to this awareness that Allah said that when you give, He said that He will multiply. You have to believe. That's why we start the khutbah with, oh, you believe. You have to believe that system that Allah set up. Allah set the system up where He said that He talks about the corn. And how in planting the corn, how many ears come out, and that He multiplies the seed that you place in the earth. And that's the picture he wants you to get of your giving. Just like the man plant the seed and see what comes up in the corn and all the ears of corn, Allah said that's how you're going to multiply your giving. He's going to increase your giving, but you have to believe in that system. If you don't believe in that system, you'll never participate and you'll never get the benefits of what that system can do for your life, because that's a system. He said when you plant the seed, he said he's going to multiply what you gave. He's to multiply it. So when we give to the Masjid, we make the Masjid strong so the Masjid can do his work. It can feed the poor, it can feed the needy, it can set up environments for learning experiences. This is important. So you should want to know how you can help the Masjid. We should never be comfortable in our soul where we hear words of, the Masjid is struggling. The numbers are down. And we have resources, but we don't want to share. That's not a good sign of being an intelligent human being, because Allah said in the Quran that when you give, He's gonna multiply. He's gonna multiply. I want part of the multiplication. If you believe in what Allah said, you should participate in what He said gonna work for you, for your own soul. So we should give to the Masjid so much that we should never hear Darnell pleading that the Masjid needs money. We should give so much that we never have to hear those kind of words. Because you understand that in your giving, you're going to get a great return. You're going to get a greater return in your investment. In fact, you're going to get a greater return, for those of you who played the Powerball, you're going to get a greater return than that. Yeah, for those who play the Powerball. We speak truth. We understand that people do that. But what I'm saying to you is your return is going to be greater in following this system. Because it's a guarantee. We say, Sadaqallahu, surely Allah speaks the truth. He said He's going to multiply. It ain't a gamble. It's a fact. If you give, He said He's going to increase your giving. It's going to do something for your soul. It's going to do something for your spirit. You're going to feel proud that I made a great contribution in the path of God. And I trust that He says He's going to double, He's going to multiply, He's going to increase what I give. We want to have less chances of having to hear that the Masjid is ever in need. I want you to leave knowing that. I want you to leave knowing that you should never feel comfortable being a participant in Masjid Al Hadi in 2016 with able, willing, working bodies that we penny pinch when it comes to giving for the Masjid. Because the Masjid, it has things to do, it has a purpose, it has a function. When you understand you're part of this system, Allah gonna bless you. Never in the cause of God does Allah just take from you without giving you back. That's how He operates. He tell you to give, and He tell you when you give, it's gonna do something for you. He's gonna give you more. That's why He said, even if you show gratitude, if you give thankfulness, He said, I'll give you more for that. See, Allah is always in the business of giving. He said, even if you just say, thank you, Allah, He said, I'll give you more. But see, that's why we started from the beginning. You got to believe that. See, if you don't believe that, you won't participate in doing the things Allah said you should do. If you say, thank you, Allah, for what you've done for me, you put into position more coming in your life. Because some people just don't show gratitude. Allah bless them, they got life, they just live. And function every day, it's all right. Sometimes, the only time they call on Allah is in need. So I give you, the law give you the picture of the man on the waters, and the rough waters, the storm. And he prayed to Allah, please let me hit ground, hit the shores. I need your help. And then Allah rescues him and brings him to the safeties of the shore. You forget all about Allah, he has no gratitude. See, it's going to be tough times, but even the Hadith said, even in the tough times, you got the patience. And in the good times, you show gratitude, and that is good for you. It's going to bring great benefits to you. So let us work hard to make sure that the masjid is strong so it can do its job to serve, to aid, and then make it your business, brothers and sisters, to come to the masjid more. There's many masjids you go, the doors are closed. You come in, you make your salat. Occupy the masjid. And Allah will increase you. Occupy the masjid. So there's social bonding, there's a good spirit, there's healthy relationships. And then when we finish the salat, don't just leave and walk by each other. Greet each other. I guarantee you right now, I can ask the average one of you, know very little about all those you sit on this floor with every single day. Every Friday, I guarantee you, most of you know nothing about each other. Don't know his work, know anything about his family, don't know where he comes from, don't know what he do, don't know his condition, don't know if he need help. The social bonding. Build a good, healthy relationship. That's why he says, call him sad. He is this social being. This insan is a connecting being. In fact, one wise man said the tragedy of the human being is the illusion of separation. That's a tragedy. When you don't see himself bonding with another human being, that's tragic. So when we leave here today, connect with your brother and sister. In fact, find their name. Don't worry about being nosy. This is what it means to be a brother and sister. Find their name. What's your name? I've been seeing you all these years. What's your name? What you do for yourself? That's how you build a community. And then you're in a position of strength to help. I know what you need. I can assist you. So remember, Allah says that he's the multiplier. That when you give, he's going to multiply your giving. And when you hold on, you miss your multiplication. You miss your great return. The great return is going to come, and when you give in the path of Allah, peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.